Now, I have to say, all this back and forth all week about nuclear energy has annoyed me because we're not just talking about some abstract political argument here. We're talking about something that is so important, such a basic right, that it deserves far better than the dross we've been served up. The Albanese government has, at every opportunity this week, laid into the opposition for its nuclear energy proposal. And as we heard from Energy Minister Chris Bowen on Monday, they aren't going to shut up about it.
We are happy to debate this every single day between now and the next election, every single day.
Now, I don't really get the political strategy here. Poll after poll shows that the majority of Australians support nuclear energy, and particularly young people, it should be noted, because they understand that it's emissions-free, it's reliable, it doesn't cut out when the moon comes up, and most of our allies use it. As I said earlier in the week, the only basis on which the government can hope to win this argument is cost, but we don't actually have the costings yet. And I suppose that gives the government a bit of a free kick because it means they can go on about how the numbers are being hidden from you, blah, blah, blah. But the fact is that the numbers will be released at some point, and then the government is going to, I suppose, have to attack the probity of those numbers if they want to win that argument. But the crux of it all has been opposition stupid, nuclear dumb, renewable good. And surely we deserve better than that. I mean, The Australian reported today that a new policy paper from the Victorian Chamber of Commerce and Industry says the Allan government's energy policy is putting not only the prosperity of Victoria at risk, but also the energy security of the rest of the eastern seaboard. The report says, quote, "A lack of backup gas-powered generation with its firming capacity to support renewable energy production and storage capacity puts the entire east coast of Australia's energy at risk. Victoria's energy choices impact the entire nation." And Victoria, of course, has now banned gas being connected to new homes. So you have a form of energy that is absolutely cleaner and better for the environment than coal, but they make you have an electric cooktop, which is in part powered by coal. It's good going, isn't it? The report went on that Victoria is at risk of power outages, running out of gas, and that it's on the road to energy insecurity and unreliability because we have chosen to focus investment exclusively on wind and solar rather than relying on market mechanisms to drive low-cost abatement and innovation, and that rising energy prices that will leave local industry uncompetitive and limit new investment. Now, they might be having fun with these arguments about nuclear energy in Canberra, but this is seriously pressing stuff. We learnt earlier in the week that the energy market operator had sent out a warning that the largest supplier of gas storage on the east coast, which is Lockhart Energy's Iona plant in Victoria, could run out of gas by the end of winter. And they've had to halve the amount of energy being taken from it each day to stop that happening. I mean, how can a country that is so rich in these resources like gas possibly be facing a gas shortage? It's just absurd. Victoria banned onshore gas projects for the better part of a decade, which of course drove any kind of investment interest right out of the state. And finally, one new gas project has been approved in Victoria, but we could have had plenty more by now if they hadn't been deliberately stifled by if we had not stifled our use of natural resources. And then we come to the energy market operator's integrated system plan that came out this week, and said that they expect the majority of coal-fired power stations to be offline by 2035, and the few that are left will be mothballed by 2038. And that, surprise, surprise, means we need to get some other power generation into the system quick smart because, again, according to this plan, if we're to meet our 2050 net zero emissions target, we need to add about 6 gigawatts of new capacity to the grid every year, and that's twice what is currently being built. And you know what happens if we don't get it? Blackouts. The market operator boss Daniel Westerman said, quote, "There is a real risk that replacement generation, storage and transmission may not be available in time when coal plants retire, and this risk must be avoided." This ISP, that's the document he's talking about, is a clear call to investors, industry and governments for the urgent delivery of generation, storage and transmission to ensure Australian consumers continue to have access to reliable electricity at the lowest cost. Now, the market operator hasn't taken nuclear into account at all in this report because it is currently banned in this country, and fair enough, they kind of have to deal with the rules they have in front of them right now. But let's go back to the report and see what it says about what we need to make sure the lights don't go out. Quote, with coal retiring, renewable energy connected with transmission and distribution firmed, with storage and wait, this is the crucial bit, wait for it, backed up by gas power generation is the lowest cost way to supply electricity to homes and businesses as Australia transitions to a net zero economy. We need gas. We need the gas in the system if this renewable carry-on is going to work. But instead we're restricting the use of gas because we don't have enough of it. And it's not that we don't have enough of it in the ground. There's plenty of it in the ground. We've just been too stupid to use it ourselves. And we're losing gas generation from South Australia as well. Another report from the energy market operator last month, its 10-year outlook update, spelled out how this too could mean blackouts. Now, the problem is that AGL has changed its mind and decided not to return a 200 megawatt gas-fired unit at Torrens Island in Adelaide to power production next summer. ENGIE is also mothballing its diesel-powered generators at Port Lincoln and Millicent next month, which is 3.5 years ahead of schedule. And the report said that the withdrawal of South Australian gas generators has increased reliability risks from 2024-25 onwards, jointly in South Australia and Victoria. In other words, blackouts are more likely thanks to a lack of SA gas power. How stupid can we possibly get? As the New South Wales Premier Chris Minns said last month, I'd just like to make the point that nothing will extinguish community and popular support for this energy transition more than a massive price spike resulting in people not being able to pay their bills. Now, the nuclear move is one that we absolutely should make and need to make. But this isn't just some kind of political football and a bit of point scoring. It's about keeping the lights on in a first world country. It's one of the most basic responsibilities of any government. And report after report after report keeps saying that we're running out of power, that renewables can't keep up with the coal going offline, that we don't have enough gas, and all of it means we're facing more blackouts. But we get stuff about three-eyed koalas and God knows what other nonsense we heard last week. Every day this week, there's been another story showing how the Albanese government or a Labor state government is failing to future-proof the energy grid. And it's all good and well for them to poo-poo nuclear and think that it's good politics. And they're spending all their time talking about what energy we shouldn't be producing and no time talking about the energy we need to be producing, the energy that we're not generating fast enough. And the reason they're going so hard against the opposition's nuclear plan is because they have no plan, or at least not a plan that will actually deliver the energy we need. They're deflecting, and it is pathetic.